Have you ever wondered how YouTubers like myself do world border based challenges? Well, today we're going to learn everything there is to learn about world borders and how to set them up for challenges. Now, the command to set a world border is /world border, and then after you'll have to type set, and then right here is where we put how wide it is. So for example, if we want it to be one chunk, we'll put 16, and there we go. Now we have a 16 wide world border. This is basically all you need to know for set world border challenges like this, but we're going to cover some more advanced stuff now, such as how to make the world border move, how to expand it on every day, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll start with an example of one of my previous videos, and that was 100 days but the world expands. If you want to do a challenge similar to this is how you do it. Now, ideally on day one, you want to be right on top of a tree. So we're going to open up the F3 screen and look at the targeted block, and we're going to use this command, world border center, and then we'll type in the coordinates where we want to center it. In this case, that's going to be right here, and then we'll do world border set 1. This gives you a 1 wide world. Kind of insane, to be honest. But there's one kind of important thing that I think you guys should know, and that's how to get the world border to be exactly centered on one block. If you see, when I put in the center command, I put in 0.5 and 0.5 at the end of the coordinates. If I would have just done -1, -5, then it would look like this. And that's actually centered on 2 blocks, which is not what we want. So if you want the world border to be centered exactly on 1 block, or let's say we want it to be set on 2 blocks, something like this, there's a basic rule that you have to follow with where you center the world border. Basically, on all odd numbers, you want to center the world border on 0.5, meaning wherever you want the center of the world to be plus 0.5 on that coordinates. And then for odd numbers, you want to center it on that exact block, so 0.0 at the end of the coordinates. So let me go to world border set 3, and then I'll come back here and change it back to 0.5. And now you notice that it's centered exactly on 3 blocks. Because I have noticed a lot of people set their world borders where it intersects a block like this. And to me, that seems a little bit cheaty because you are able to kind of step outside the border. And you're also able to interact with blocks that the border intersects. But if the border is perfectly on 1 block right here, then we can't do anything outside the border, and we can't even go outside of it. But now let's do a full run through on how I would set up a challenge like this. The first step is to head over to a website called Chunkbase, and then go to the seed map. I'll leave a link in the description to this exact website. But basically, for a challenge like this, if you want it to be interesting, then it has to be on a good seed. Because if you do it on a completely random seed, then you could just spawn in the center of a desert, and it would take forever to get wood, and that wouldn't really be interesting. So for the expanding border challenge that I just recently did, I had somebody go on Chunkbase and find me a good seed, since that way it would still be a good seed, but I wouldn't know what was in it. But if you don't care about knowing what's in the seed, then you can just do this yourself. But basically what I do is I go up here and I click random, and I cycle through a bunch of seeds until I find one that I think is good. For the purpose of this video, let's just pretend that this seed is the one that I want. So I'll copy it, I'll head back over to Minecraft, and I'll create a new world. Now, normally I do my challenges in hardcore mode, so I'm going to put it on hardcore. We'll paste in the seed, and then we'll create the world. You don't have to do it on hardcore though if you don't want to. You can always do it on survival, but this is the seed that we chose. But you might be wondering, how am I going to set this up if I'm in hardcore mode? But basically, there's kind of a workaround that you can do to get this to work. First, I'll open to LAN and enable cheats, and then I'll put myself into creative mode. And let's just pretend that this block right here is where I want the world border to be centered. So I'll go through and do the world border center command and put it right here. We're going to put it on 0.5 because it's an odd number, and then we'll set it to 1. There we go. And then basically, I'll put myself back in hardcore mode. I'll set the time to 0 to reset the day counter. And now this next part is optional, but I always do it on my worlds because I think it works a lot better. Basically, I'll head to the .minecraft folder and then over to my saves folder, and then I'll navigate into the world that we just created, and then I'll go here and delete the advancements file in the advancements folder. I'll delete the player data files, also in the player data folder, and lastly, I'll delete the stats file in the stats folder. And this basically completely resets the world as if it were a clean start. So if you accidentally picked up some blocks in creative or had to place down some blocks, then that gets completely erased so you can have a fresh start. And now once we load back into the world, then everything is all reset. If we look here, I don't have any advancements, my stats are all zeroed out, and it's as if I spawned in this world with just a 1 block border. And now let's say we've been surviving in this world for a little bit and it just became day 2. Basically what I did in my world is I opened to LAN. This time I'm not going into creative because I feel like that's cheating, and I'll set the world border to be 2, and I'll center it on the block, but instead of 0.5, I'll put 0.0, and then I'll quit the world, and then we can rejoin. And you see, once you quit and rejoin, you're no longer in LAN, and now the world is 2 blocks. There might be a better way to do this, but this is just the easiest way that I found. And it might be a bit controversial opening to LAN, but I'm not really doing anything cheaty when I'm opening to LAN. I'm just expanding the border. And then basically I'll just repeat this every day until day 100, making sure that every even day has the center ending in 0.0, and every odd day has the center ending in 0.5. It is a tiny bit complicated, but but that's the best way that I found to do this challenge. But now let's move on to a different type of challenge now. And this is going to be the challenge that I just did in my last video. Minecraft, but the world is constantly shrinking. Basically, I'll do the same thing and try to find a decent seed, or you can also do a random seed. It doesn't really matter for this type of challenge. But let's just say that I want this seed. We'll head back to Minecraft, create a new world, put it on hardcore mode, and paste in the seed. And now this next part is entirely up to you with how you want to do it. But I'll just give you an example with what I did from my last video. Basically, like before, I'll open to LAN and allow cheats. And in my last video, I set the world border to be 10,000 blocks wide. So that will be our first command. And now this next command determines how long it's going to take for the world to shrink down to 1 block. So like before, it's going to be world border, and then we'll do set, and then 1, and then right here is where you put in the time. Now this time is in seconds, so depending on how long you want it to be, then put in the time accordingly. But let's just say we want it to last 1 hour, which is 3,600 seconds, and this is the command that we'll do for that. World border set 1 3,600. And there we go. Now we only have 1 hour until this world shrinks down to 1 block. Oh wait, and also like before, we have to quit to get out of LAN, and then we can rejoin the world and try to survive before it shrinks. But let me show you guys how it looks over here. Let's just teleport to 5,000 blocks away, and this is right where the border is. And as you can see, it's shrinking pretty quickly, honestly. It does take a bit of trial and error to get the right speed of shrink for the border, since I feel like this might be too fast actually. If you did 10,000 blocks, then I would probably do about 4 to 5 hours. And I guess I can just run that command to show you how it looks. Here we go. World border set 170,200. This is 2 hours. And it definitely looks a lot slower now, yeah. But this is still probably too fast for my liking. But like I said before, it's entirely up to you with how you want to do it. But that's basically all you need to know about world borders and setting them up for challenges. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you end up using this for one of your own challenges. And if you do, drop a link in the comments. I would love to watch it. But that's going to be all from me today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!